Good morning, friends. Happy Sunday. Today I want to paint this little white flower that I keep seeing. And so I thought that would be kind of fun. I think what I will do, these are my brushes. I'm going to use, I think today I'll use the 8 round. And because these are going to be kind of daisy-like, but I'm going to keep the filbert out just in case. So I'll use those 2 brushes. And then for my paints today, feel free to use my Lang palette. These are great. They're going to be very similar to what I'm going to use. You know, I love these. I mean, look at these gorgeous, beautiful, creamy colors. Love them. I'm going to use, though, I had this sitting here and I hadn't used it for a couple weeks. The Paul Rubens Floral. It's really similar, so, you know, no worries there. But what I typically will do is I will, when I get ready to paint, it's kind of hard sometimes to see exactly, you know, what the colors are in your palette. I like to pull out my little swatch sheet here because I can really see precisely what colors I'm going to get. And that's why I decided, this is the Paul Rubens Floral Palette swatch. So I really like that. And I put all my information on here for them so I can kind of see, I can see the transparency. So it really helps me just go right to this and say, oh, that's the flower I want to do. That's the color I want for the middle or whatever. It just, for me, I'm such a visual. So the Paul Rubens Floral is pretty similar to the regular palette, like this one that a lot of you have and I used predominantly. I liked, though, the brown in the Paul Rubens Floral a little bit better. It just is a little bit deeper, has a little bit more, I'm not sure what that color is, but I like that color. So I'm going to use that. And then for the middle, I'll probably use maybe either browns or indigo, something like that. And then my petals, I'm going to use that Hooker's olive green because I love that. The color they do and have in here that I really, really have been enjoying is this Indian yellow. It's kind of like a yellowy orange. So I like that a lot, but I'm going to use the floral palette. So let me just get that out here. And I'm painting on my Artisto pads, 140-pound cold press, whatever you have, but I do love these. And I know so many of you are enjoying these. I'm so glad because it took me years to come. I went through Canson for my workshops and my students. I went through all of them. And this Artisto is just, it's wonderful. I love it. It's not 100% cotton, but it works really great. If you do want 100% cotton, by the way, I use my Mead paper. And they recently came out with, I'm going to order one. I haven't ordered one yet. This is the Mead 100% cold press, 140-pound. It's in a block, which I actually do love if I want to paint with a lot of water. But they did just come out with one, and I'll show you when I order it on Amazon. That is a block, or it's a pack, and they give you a little bit of rough, cold, and a hot press. So I thought that was kind of cool. All right, let's make sure you spray your paints. Let's just get them going here. There we go. So those are all nice and wet. And I've got my 2 brushes. Let's see here. Let me grab a little palette to work on. 1 second. This is typically the one I use when I'm working with my Paul Rubens Floral palette, and I just kind of leave the paints on here so I can just reactivate them. But this is the one I used last time I used this palette, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. All right, what I like to do first is just, let me grab my little pearl wing pencil here. And that's another supply. You guys ask me about this a lot. Of course, you can use any old pencil, but I like this one because I tend to go through my erasers really quick. And this one, you can replace the eraser. So I like that. It just slips on out here. Oops. Well, I'm not going to do it now, but it has a little clamp and it pulls out and you just replace the eraser, or you can pull it up more. I love it. All right. What I wanted to do was I like to do just a little bit of guidelines. Hopefully you can see that. And then my petals will come out this way. And these are going to be a little bit of anemone inspired. And then I'll probably have one up here. And this just helps me keep my petals all going towards the center of my flowers so they're not all wonky. And I'll probably have one right here. So I'll have those petals coming out like that. And then maybe some berries. Let's get started though, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, so wetting my brush. I do also, really important, I know I always talk about this, but it's just so important. Sometimes it's those really little things that can make a huge difference, to have wash water and rinse water, because you definitely will carry over whatever color you used into when you change colors, and it can make a big difference. I always make sure I rinse my brush really well, and if you're not sure you got all the paint off, just dab it on a paper towel, and you'd be surprised how many times I have thought my brush was clean and I had paint in it. All right. Let's see here. Let me think about this just a little bit. So I had an anemone in mind, but you know, when I do my flowers, I just kind of do whatever. I kind of make up my own thing. So let's see, I have my Paul Rubens floral palette here. I think the color I want to go with is, let's do this. What is this called? Cypress Brown Deep. I found I'm really attracted to that one. I like it a lot. They don't really have a black per se in this palette, but they have, you know, you can mix your blacks, mix opposites. So, all right, I'm going to go in and just kind of tap in. And this is a pretty, I made quite I didn't even put it in my palette. I just went right into my pans. And so I've got a pretty dark concentration of that black. And now I'm going to go ahead and rinse my brush, but not all of it out. So I have some water in there. And then what I'm going to do is go in and just kind of pull out these petals. So tapping in there, press open my brush and swoop around. Tap, swoop around. So I've got some white area in there too. Tap, swoop around. Isn't that pretty? Look how fun that is. Point, swoop around. So now it's starting to dry a bit. So I might have to just play with that brown a little bit that I have in the center there, but look how pretty these are. It's always fun playing with white flowers. The other thing is I drew my guidelines on there a little bit darker because I wanted you guys to be able to see them, but you might want to go a little bit lighter with those. And then let's just go into the center there and add in just a tiny bit. I don't want too much because I don't want it to totally flow. And then I'm going to go right into this one. There we go. Rinse my brush. And same thing. Open my brush, spin it around. Try and do this a little bit quicker so that I couldn't spin my brush around on that one because I didn't want to get my hand in the way. There we go. So pretty. I know I'm always saying this, but I mean, look at that effect you get with watercolors. Just so cool. I just never get tired of that, honestly. And then right here, I'm going to add a little bit of the dots because this one I'm making kind of sideways. So rinse my brush and then start pulling those petals out. There we go. Spin my brush around. I'm going to lengthen that one just a little bit. Look how pretty. So this one I'm making kind of facing downwards. Now before that dries too much, I want to go into let's see, what I wanted to use was that Hooker's Green. I think it's actually called Hooker's Green Vibrant, and the olive green. So let's just see what that does. I think, ooh, yeah, look at that nice, warm, wintry green. I love it. Okay, so let's just go here, here. Ooh, and I love that it kind of mixes it. Oh, so pretty. I am not normally the total winter colors person because, as you can see, I love my pinks, but I've been really getting into it lately. Look how pretty. Like that right there. You could just stop. You're done. But I'm going to do just a little bit more because I want a few little leaves here. So 2 C strokes. Look at that. Isn't that a cute little leaf? Let's do another one up here. There we go. Maybe one coming out right here. Like that. And you want to have some different sized leaves, but I want to keep this pretty simple. So I don't want too much here. Just little suggestions. There we go. I think that's all in the leaves. What I do want to do here is go in and just maybe, I'm kind of debating. Notice here too, I left white space. So I think that's really a big thing. You see me do that a lot, but I think it makes a big difference. I almost don't want to go in and do anything to these. But, so I don't know, maybe I'm just going to leave it just like that. What do you think, guys? I was thinking I might add a little tiny, very light pressure here. Because I think it's those guidelines that are kind of bugging me. I can see those. But I'm actually loving the simplicity of these. So I don't want to do too much. But just a few little lines. There we go. And I can even take a tissue and kind of dab that if I want to lighten those. And this spread a little bit. That's okay. Just some very little hints. And that's it. I think I'm just going to leave it just like that. But look how fun that is. So that gives you that feeling of a white flower. This was a little bit inspired by the anemone, but not. It's actually more daisy looking. And I hope you give this a try. It's really fun. It's a practice in using just water on your brush as kind of a color. I know I'm always doing this. I'm done, but then like I feel like I just want to add a couple little splatters. That's it. Ooh, look how fun, you guys. All right, I hope you give that a try. Always fun playing with white flowers, and happy painting.